Hello students, this is A.K. Sharma Bio Classes and we are going to continue the chapter 5, the fundamental unit of life. In the earlier part, we had studied about the structural organization of a cell, and we studied that all the cells are made up of three important components, and the components are plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. So these three are the important components of all the typical cells, and plant cells have a cell wall in addition to the above component. So here we can see in the plant cell we can find one extra wall, that is cell wall, and this is animal cell. There is only plasma membrane, there is no cell wall presence. In the previous section, we have already discussed one of the components of the cell, plasma membrane, its functions. Today, we will study about the second component, that is nucleus. Nucleus is the most prominent and largest structure of the cell. Generally, there is one nucleus present in the cell, but in some cells there are more than one nuclei, and such cells are called multinucleated cells. In younger cell, nucleus is present in the center, but as the cell grows and matures, nuclei is pushed towards the periphery. Periphery means it goes towards the plasma membrane. In matured cell, generally nucleus is present at the periphery. It governs the cell, or it guides the cell, it controls all the activities of the cell. That is why it is also called as controlling center of the cell. It plays a major role in a cell in its division and its development. So nucleus plays a major role in cell division and cell development. Generally, nucleus is bonded by double layer membrane. So it can also be called as bimembranous structure or double membranous structure. And these membranes have some pores, and such pores are called nuclear pore. And this nuclear pore helps in transfer of materials from inside to outside, or this pores makes the connection between nucleoplasm and cytoplasm. What is the nucleoplasm? Nucleoplasm is the fluid part of the nucleus, and the fluid part of the nucleus is called nucleoplasm. And nucleus has double layered membrane, and this membrane is called nuclear membrane that separates nucleoplasm and cytoplasm of the cell. Another important part of nucleus is chromatin network. Chromatin network is a thread-like network present in the nucleus. And nucleolus. Nucleolus is a dense structure in the middle of the nucleus is called nucleolus. So there are four important parts in the nucleus: is membrane, nuclear pores, or here nuclear plasma, chromatin fiber, chromatin network, and nucleolus. Nuclear membrane is one of the important parts of the nucleus. It is a double layered structure that separates a nucleoplasm and cytoplasm. Nucleoplasm is the fluid part inside the nucleus, and cytoplasm is the fluid part outside the nucleus in the cell. Nuclear membrane has a number of pores, and these pores are called nuclear pore, and it helps in exchange of materials between nucleoplasm and cytoplasm, between nucleus and cytoplasm. During cell division, nuclear membrane disappears, but in some organism, nuclear membrane is already absent, and such organisms are called prokaryotes. And in prokaryotes, nuclear region contains only nucleic acid, and this nuclear region is called nucleoid. Okay, so nuclear membrane is present in eukaryotes only. So those organisms which have a nuclear membrane in their cells are called eukaryotes. It is present in the cells of plants and animals and the higher organism cells. Nucleoplasm, it is the fluid part which is present inside the nucleus, is called nucleoplasm or karyolymph. Karyo word is related to nucleus and lymph is fluid. So the fluid of nucleus is also called karyolymph or nucleoplasm. It is a gel-like dense substance present in the nucleus. In this nucleoplasm, chromatin material and nucleolus are present. Chromatin materials are a mass of thread-like structures, and nucleolus is a dense oval round structure. One of the important parts of nucleus is chromatin network or chromatin material, and it is present in nucleoplasm, and this is a mass of thread-like structure, धागा जैसा है, and these thread-like structures are entangled, उलझा हुआ structures है, as we can see here. And this chromatin material condense and thickens to form chromosomes during cell division. So what happens during cell division? These chromatin materials thickens, condenses to form chromosome. मतलब ये थोड़ा मोटा और कंडेंस होकर के क्रोमोसोम बनाता है. So chromosome is a condensed form of chromatin. Chromosomes are made up of DNA and protein. DNA full form deoxyribonucleic acid, and protein. DNA is the master molecule and it controls all the activities of the cell. It plays a major role in cell division and cell development. The functional segment of DNA are called genes. Double-stranded structure, and the strands of nucleotide, and these strands of nucleotide has some functional segment, and those functional segment of DNA are called genes, and genes controls the character. Whatever the character, whichever the character we display are controlled by our genes. On one chromosome, many genes are present. On one chromosome, there are many genes, and all the genes controls various characters. Chromosomes are considered as hereditary vehicle because these carries genetic informations in the form of DNA from parents to offsprings, or from one generation to the next generation. So we can say that these are hereditary material. Chromosomes are hereditary unit of the cell because it carries DNA, and DNA is the carrier of the characters or genes, and genes are controlling all the characters in the offsprings. And we can see that each chromosome is made up of 2 units. The another part is nucleolus. Nucleolus is a spherical or oval body present within the nucleus. It is generally bigger in size in those cells which are actively concerned with protein synthesis, जिसका मेन काम मुख्य रूप से protein synthesis करना है, there nucleolus will be in bigger size. It is more prominent in non-dividing cell. Those cells which do not divide, those cells which synthesize protein, those cells which grows. So in the growing phase of the cell, it is more prominent. It contains large amount of RNA and protein. पहले हमने DNA पढ़ा था, now it is RNA. RNA means ribonucleic acid. DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid. RNA means ribonucleic acid. So nucleolus contains a large amount of RNA and protein and a very small amount of DNA. The full form of DNA is, yes, deoxyribonucleic acid. And we can see here the chromatin networks, and these chromatin networks condenses to form, yes, say what? Chromosome. And the chromosome is made up of DNA and proteins, and DNA is carrier of many genes, and genes are the small segment of what? Small segment of DNA, and genes controls the characters which is all present in the nucleus. Now, function of nucleus, already we have discussed. It helps in development or maintenance of cell. It helps in cell division. It is needed for the inheritance of character or transfer of character from parents to offsprings, from one generation to the next generation, and it controls all the various cytoplasmic activities. The activities which is occurring in the cytoplasm, that means outside the nucleus, like protein synthesis and other activities, is controlled by the cytoplasm. This is the fluid which is present inside the cell, but it is present outside the nucleus. The fluid which is present inside the nucleus is called nucleoplasm, right? And the fluid which is present outside the nucleus but in the cell is called cytoplasm. It is a larger region of each cell which is enclosed by cell membrane. This cytoplasm is enclosed by cell membrane all around. In animal cell, only cell membrane will be there, but in plant cell there will be one extra layer outside the cell membrane, that will be the cell wall. Cytoplasm is transparent, semi-solid ground substance in which various cell organelles are present. Various cell organelles, membrane bound cell organelles. In prokaryotes there will be non-membranous cell organelles. Water is the main component of cytoplasm. Here 70 to 80% is water itself, and this contains fats, protein, carbohydrate and various organic substances. It helps in exchange of materials between the cell organelles, because all the cell organelles are bathed in this cytoplasm, so the exchange of material takes place from cytoplasm to the cell organelle through it. It is a site of chemical reactions like glycolysis, protein synthesis. Glycolysis, it is the formation of pyruvic acid from glucose, is called glycolysis. This is one of the important part of respiration. And protein synthesis also takes place in cytoplasm. Protein is needed for the growth of the body, for the growth of the cell, and it is forming in the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm takes very little stains. इसमें कलर ज़्यादा नहीं लेता है. So it is very important part of the cell and we will discuss it and cell organelles later on. On the basis of the presence of nucleus and nuclear region, the cell can be categorized into two categories: prokaryotic cell organism and eukaryotic organism. Prokaryotic cells are generally small, eukaryotic cells are large. On the basis of nuclear region, in prokaryotic cell it is not well defined and it is not surrounded by a nuclear membrane. So there is no presence of nuclear membrane, and this nuclear region is called nucleoid, as we have discussed just now. In eukaryotic cell, nuclear region will be well defined and it will be surrounded by a nuclear membrane. So nuclear membrane will be present in eukaryotic and it will be absent in prokaryotic. Chromosomes in prokaryotic it will be single and it will be circular shaped, but in eukaryotic there will be more than one chromosomes and it will be linear structures like this. Cell division. In prokaryotic cell there will be simple division, simple fission, and eukaryotic cell divides by two process: mitosis and meiotic cell division. Membrane bound organelles are absent in prokaryotic and present in eukaryotic. Nucleus. In prokaryotic cell there is lack of true nucleus or true nucleus will be absent, but in eukaryotic cell true nucleus will be present. Ribosome in prokaryotic will be smaller in size and it will be randomly scattered in cytoplasm, but in eukaryotic cell it is bigger in size and it is attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum is one of the cell organelles in the cytoplasm. And ribosome here in prokaryotic it will be of 70S type and in eukaryotic it will be 80S type. Now examples for a prokaryotic cell: bacteria and blue-green algae or cyanobacteria, and eukaryotic cells are plant cells, animal cells and fungi, and the cells of higher organism. Here we can see the pictures of prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells, these are bacterial cells, and eukaryotic, here you can see animal cells. In this picture also prokaryotic, bacterial cells and other cells. Thank you. And later on we will about the cell organelles and their functions in the next class.